STP. STP. You run back. Yeah. Test 1, 2, 3.
How you doing? That's fine. Looks pretty. Got it all back together. That's nice. That's right. We got all the way out there. Thanks, guys. Yeah. Oh, where else you got it? Where you got it? No, it's just
Could I have your attention, please? Will all the guests that are to be seated at the head table come forward, please? And ladies and gentlemen, if you're ready, we ask you to take a seat, please. Perry Tripp and George Hartnagel and Lois and Roger Tim. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the St. Louis Auto Racing Fan Club, I'd like to welcome you to tonight's 27th annual Banquet of Champions. And hope you all enjoy the evening. We've got some great awards to give out. We've got some great people to talk about, great people to recognize. But before we get started, we'd like to introduce to you the president of the St. Louis Auto Racing Fan Club, Mr. George Hartnagel. George?
Good evening, everybody, and we're glad to see so many show up with the threat of snow and everything. So I'm not going to say too much. I'm going to move right ahead and get things rolling here. And give Jim Childers to give the invocation, and we'll get going with it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's good to be back with you. Racing people, there's no better people in the world than racing people. But, you know, this year has been kind of a tragic year in all forms of auto racing. NASCAR suffered the loss of two very, very great drivers. And people in this area lost a good friend and the director of motorsports racing in Springfield, DuPont, Bill O'Danny. So right now I'd ask that everyone please rise and for a moment of silent prayer, and I'll conclude with the invocation. Heavenly Father, we thank you once again for this time that we can come together and celebrate the 1993 racing season, the champions, their car owners, and their crews, Lord. Lord, we pray that you'll be with the families of Davey Allison, Alan Kowicki, and Bill Danny. Lord, we pray that you'll be with their families, comfort them, Lord. Also, we pray for a speedy recovery of Jack Hewitt, probably one of the best known and well-liked race drivers in the United States. Lord, we pray that you'll be with each and every one of us tonight, Lord. Those that's traveling home, we pray for a safe journey to their destination. Right now, Lord, we pray for the food we are about to partake and to the nourishment of our bodies. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Jim. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mike Buer. This is Jim Childers, who just gave the invocation. He'll be the co-master of ceremonies along with me this evening. We want to remind you of a couple of things before we head through the buffet. First of all, we do have some stuff that we're going to be auctioning off tonight. This is a silent auction. The table at the far end of the room, the left half of the table has silent auction items on it, and those silent auction bids will be read at 11 o'clock. So you've got till now to 11 o'clock to make a bid on the racing parts and apparel, and I believe that one of those pictures also is in the auction tonight. The right half of the table, they've got a lot of great stuff, hats and oil and man, you name it, they've got a bunch of stuff down there, and that's $1 a ticket. And what we're going to do at 9 o'clock, we're going to start drawing 10 or 15 tickets at a time. The first ticket gets their choice, and we'll just go right on down the line. Now then, you say, well, you know, a little short Christmas, I've been at the mall, this, that, and the other. We still got some great attendance prizes for you, so keep your ticket stubs when you come in, because we'll be drawing numbers for those also this evening. As is the case in most big banquets, the head table does get to go first. I apologize for that. It just has to do with banquets. Now then, after the head table is through the line, we're going to have people from the hotel come through to your table, and they'll direct you through the line. So we'll see you in a few minutes for the awards presentations. Again, thanks a lot for coming. We appreciate it.
Amongst all my friends and everything, I'm glad everybody's here tonight. This is a surprise to me. I'm not a Bill Elliott or a Ken Schrader. I'm just Perry Tripp, a local racer, trying to do the best I can. All I can say is I really enjoy strapping in the race car, putting the helmet on, and going out and standing on the gas. And I hope someday that I can move up in my racing career and, you know, maybe be up with Kenny and Bill and some of the other guys. But, you know, who knows? This racing is a game of luck and opportunities at the right time, and taking advantage of your opportunities. And, you know, we're working real hard. We got a bunch of guys down in Fredericktown and that help us, and we don't have a lot of money, but we work real hard. If work got you there, we'd be there. That's all I can say about it. We did start out racing dirt tracks 14 years ago. I brought a few pictures with me tonight that kind of shows some of the beginning cars, and as we kind of moved along and started out in sprint cars. And I like running the sprint cars, but financially things weren't going in that direction, so we just had to kind of move on to other things. We got other opportunities to drive, and I never turned down a chance to drive a race car. And like I said, I really enjoy strapping in and going racing and racing the different kinds of cars and meeting the different people. And I really enjoy the people in racing and all the competitors and the car owners and the sponsors, and really, you know, just have a good fellowship with everybody around.
Mary, let's go back 14 years ago. You said you've been started 14 years ago. Let's go back to that first time you strapped in a race car. Do you remember very much about it?
I sure did. It kind of reminded me the first time I got in a ARCA car on the super speedway. I thought, what in the heck am I doing here? But no, I remember the first night I drove a race car. It was a sprint car. I had an old CAE spring front car. It had a bolt-on cage on it. My dad and I bought it. I think we gave I believe it was $1,500 for the car. And you know, I mean, we just started from there. It was an experience. I probably got lapped 10 times in the feature. I don't remember, but I know there was a lot of mud on my helmet when it was all over, and I didn't know if I really belonged there or not, to be honest with you, but I didn't give up. I just kept trying, and by the second year, I got up to where I could win a heat race, and by the third year, we won a feature, and all of a sudden, I started realizing, well, maybe I can do a little driving.
You're very active in the modifieds as well. If you had one race you had to pick out that was a highlight of your racing career so far, what would that be?
It would have been 2 years ago at Granite City on the quarter mile in Bill Mortland's midget. He had just bought a new Edmunds coilover car, Bill was just getting into racing. I mean, you know, he had only been car owner for a year, and his job doesn't let him race a whole lot, so it was about the fourth time we even had the car out. And I remember it was a USAC race, and it had 50 cars showed up that night. And they ran a semi, and they put 30, I believe it was 32 cars in the semi. I went to the USAC official, and I said, "You're not going to do this, are you?" And he said, "Yeah, we're going to do it." And I thought, my gosh, how are we going to get through this? I was starting like 25th. We didn't qualify worth a darn. We drew pills that night, and I never could draw a pill worth a darn, but anyway, so.
Yeah, that is hard to do.
Yeah, I never could draw a pill. Always never did do too good there. But anyway, we ran fifth in the B and made the A. That's where we had to run, fifth. And so that put us up there with all the USAC big guys, and started 23rd, I believe it was. It was a long ways back, and 50-lap feature. You know, I just put the pedal to the metal. The car hooked up good that night. We ran the whole race. There was no yellow flags. And we ran third to Jack Hewitt and Steve Knipper. And that was probably the best race that I ever drove with a car that shouldn't have been third. Chevy 2 motor. There was no way that car should have been third. Donnie Lehman remembers it.
Well, Donnie's got a little advantage on what you got. Extra traction there, Barry.
I'm guessing.
A couple years ago, you embarked on ARCA. Now, I've been associated with ARCA for the past 10 years, announcing in Springfield and DuPont. And this year, folks, in our presence, we got probably one of the prettiest ARCA race cars I've ever seen in the last 10 years. Can you tell us a little bit about that race car?
Yeah, well, my car...
Let me get your sponsor sheet you gave me a while ago. We don't want to forget sponsors. He gave me that a while ago, so we don't want to forget anybody there. He wasn't ready to speak.
Boy, we do have a lot of help. Let's see. Yes, we got this car together this spring. A fellow by the name of Gary Harrison, who most people won't recognize the name in racing. He's married to my main sponsor, the Sargent Construction. He's married to the daughter of Mr. Sargent, and they've been my backer ever since day one. If you look in the pictures down there on the very first sprint car, you'll see Sargent Construction in some kind of rough lettering there on the hood, but that was from day one. And anyway, Gary is the husband of Renee, who runs the company, Sargent Construction. Mr. Sargent was killed in a truck accident 5 years ago, but the family stayed behind me, and they kind of kept going. But Gary took me to Charlotte. We've been talking about this thing for a couple years, and he took me down there, and he said, "We're going to go down there and buy a race car." So I said, "Okay, we'll go. I'm willing to work. I'm willing to do whatever it takes." So we went down to Charlotte, and we ran into Mike Wallace down there, and Mike put us on to Barry Owen, his car owner. Mike said Barry had an ARCA car that he had just purchased from Terry Labonte. Actually, it was a Winston Cup car. And of course, Oldsmobile got out of Winston Cups. The Labontes were looking to unload some of those Oldsmobiles, and they had a few of them. So it worked the deal out where we ended up with a car. If you'll notice on the right-hand door post where the window is, there's still a little Sunoco blue there I left before I painted it. But anyway, we brought the car. Actually, we put the car together. We went to Labonte's shop and looked at it. And Gary, you just got to know Gary. He doesn't know racing too good. And here we are in Terry Labonte's shop down in High Point, North Carolina. And this thing is huge, and there's race cars sitting everywhere. And Gary never meets a stranger, and he asked, he said, "Will this car fit the template?" Our other car wouldn't fit the template, so it was a big deal. We had to fit the template. So he makes Mr. Labonte go upstairs and grab the template and come down and put it on the car, and I'm thinking, oh man, these guys will never forget us. So anyway, it did fit the template, so we was okay there. So Anyway, we come home and we was all fired up and everything, but we left the car down there because it wasn't completely together. And Barry was really, really nice to us. I can't say enough about Barry Owen. He's just one super guy, and Mike Walls has one super car owner to drive for. And but Barry said, "You guys come back when you get ready." And we looked at the schedule and kind of saw where the Bush guys had a break in May there, and we went down there, and I took all my crew guys. I said, "Guys, we're gonna learn how to build a Winston Cup car." And they, yeah, we're ready, you know. So we go down there and we worked like dogs for a week and put that car together in Barry's shop, and he helped us, and all his guys helped us, and they're just super. And we got it all together. We had Randy Dorton down there, Keith Dorton down there putting the motor together, and it all worked out great. We was able to pick the motor up, pick the car up, bring it all back to Missouri, and then we put it all together at my shop down in Fredericktown, finished everything up down there. But we weren't ready to race until August. You know, it's tough to build a car in Fredericktown, Missouri, I'll tell you. Anyway, some of my sponsors helped me. Motorcycle Step out of Cape Girardeau furnishes my engines. Sargent Construction owns the race car. Duckett Truck Center, Parker Bank Chevrolet, Bob Quinn's Auto Bargain Center, Mars Race Place, Orchard Brothers Photos, Lewis Salvage. All these people help us out in varying ways and different means. And I tell you, it takes everybody, a total team effort to put one of these things together. And I have a lot of respect for the ARCA guys, for what they do, for the money they spend. It's just phenomenal, the show they put on. And the guys, they really deserve a lot of credit. And, you know, it's just can't say enough about the ARCA competitors.
Well, let's look toward 1994. What's your plans?
Well, we just kind of got it's a pretty serious deal. We got a sponsor to buy all of our tires for next year. So that was the thing we were really needing. And we were going to races this year and trying to run the whole thing on one or two sets of tires, and you just can't do it. I was out there skating around and everything, and you know, I was doing okay, but it wasn't what we needed. But we were learning, and we just didn't have the money to do it, you know, and we made a decision that if we didn't get a deal going, we were just going to have to, you know, maybe give it up, you know, maybe try one more year of struggling, maybe do 4 or 5 races again. But we just got a tire sponsors, WW Transport out of Advance, Missouri, and they're going to pay for all of our tires next year. And we've got Motorcycle Step back for our motors. We run, like I said, we run Keith Dorton engines out of Concord, North Carolina. They're really top-notch engine builder. We have a lot of confidence in the world in them, and Dale Earnhardt's brother works there, so what else can you say?
Well, Perry, once again, it's good to have you here at the 27th Annual St. Louis Auto Racing Fan Club. We're looking forward to seeing you in ARCA competition next year. You going for that Rookie of the Year, maybe?
That's what we're looking for. We're still a few dollars short on doing that, but we're confident we can do it, and we're gonna. That's what our goal is, to try to run for the rookie title with ARCA.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give him a round of applause out of Fredericktown, Missouri. I'd like to introduce Mr. Mike Miller. Ladies and gentlemen, it's good to have Mike with us. Mike was in a very serious accident last Saturday. As you know, Mike is a horseman, and he was in a very serious accident. If the manager of Walmart had not come out to unplug the horse, it's hard to tell how much damage it would have caused, but Mike, it's good to have you with us here.
Thanks a lot, Jim, and I owe you one big time. Thank you very much. Jim Childers, ladies and gentlemen. Now it's time we do the trophy presentation. We get the championship award presentation part of our program underway. We have 2 lovely trophy presenters this evening, Miss Janet Boston and Rhonda. Miss Rhonda Sims, give the ladies a nice round of applause if you will when they come. Which end do we start? Are we starting this end down here? Okay, we'll start on this side down here. We're going to jump back and forth from end to end. I hope the guy with the camera can get through the balloons okay. But we'll start down this end. And we'll start this evening with Ally Auto
Auto Racing Association. We have a special announcement to make, one that I'm happy about. For those of you who don't know, it is signed, sealed, and delivered. Allied will be back at Belleville, Illinois in 1994 at Belle Claire Speedway. Congratulations to Allied Auto Racing, ladies and gentlemen. Give a nice round of applause. Allied's back at Belleville. Allied raced this season on Saturday nights at Tri-City Speedway in Granite City, Illinois. They have 3 champions. I don't know if they're all... is Peggy here? Did I see Peggy's not here? Okay, there must be a fight somewhere. Okay. See, I can do that. There was a big street fight, so they couldn't make it. Okay. We'll start with the sportsman champion with Allied in 1993. Ladies and gentlemen, give him a nice round of applause. Mr. Bobby Biddle. Bob Biddle from Belleville, Illinois. Okay, you go down. Okay, I have to go down here now? Because I'll talk to Bob down here. I'll do this. Okay, good. We'll take the pictures. We have pictures. Is it over? Is it done yet? Okay, Bob. This is going to save you a lot of money, see, because I know you're going to take the Carnegie course this year. So now you've got 20 minutes just to kind of talk about racing in general. Your new sponsor, Nick's SOS. See, only Belleville people know that's not right. Okay. Bobby, congratulations on the championship. Again, Allied's not an easy association with a championship with, is it?
No, they got a lot of tough competitors out there, and to cut that part short, one thing I would like to congratulate one of my pit guys, Gary Staub. He's probably one of the main backbones to the last 3 championships we've won the last 3 years.
Well, congratulations. In 1994, where's the Biddle crew going? What are you going to do?
We're going to stay right here close to home, and we'll be back at Belleville with you, I guess. I don't know, are you going to be there?
I haven't signed the contract yet. My manager, Mr. Fleesom, has not given me a final number. He also bought that damn horse for me, too. Bob, I understand there's a special announcement in your family tomorrow. Would you like to say anything about that?
What was that?
Your wife's birthday's tomorrow.
Oh yeah, she's going to be real close to 30 tomorrow. She got a year to go, but one thing I would like to say about with Allied, we're going to have a super class of cars. We're going to have a super class next year. We're changing the sportsman class around, and going to be some real exciting racing and some neat cars.
All right, Bob, just in case, for those people who don't know, Lose Your Hips will be 29 tomorrow. Mr. and Mrs. Bobby Bill, give a nice round of applause. Congratulations, Bob. The street stock champion for 1994 with the Allied Auto Racing Association was Peggy Bauer Cook. Now she's married, is that correct? Peggy Bauer Cook. She is not here this evening. Is anyone accepting for Peggy? Wait a minute, who's going to accept? It's a gentleman from the St. Clair County Police Department. Oh, wait. Just kidding, and don't tell her dad, okay? Don't tell her dad. He likes me, he really does like me, and I just throw that in there, kind of liven your carrot cake up a little bit. Okay. Now, I got the hardest thing. With Allied in 1994, the modified champion from Marissa, Illinois, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mark McClintock. Come on down, Mark. Once again, Mark was the champion. They raced on a half mile, is that right? The modifieds, they raced on a half mile, which is a big track for Mark. I've got Mark. Everybody sent a little, that they send in the bio stuff. You know what I mean? They, how many races, Mark's got here. Mark McClintock, Marissa, Illinois, married, 6 feet 4 inches tall. I tease Mark. He's really a nice guy. A lot of good race fans at Marissa, Illinois, Mark.
Well, I have to agree with Mike. I have been coming up short on my wife. On and off the track.
Are we paying him or what is this? Go ahead, Mark.
Well, I know Mike's had some bad luck with the horses, and he's been in and out of his own business and stuff, but it looks to me like he's coming out on top.
Well, I was going to wish you a lot of luck for next year, Mark. But let's talk about next year. What's Mark McClintock going? What are you going to do?
Well, I should have a little more time this year, or this summer, and I'm going to try to do the same thing I did this year. And it seems like every year when I get close to getting some points, this banquet here is probably the main thing that pushes me to try harder and harder. I think it's one of the nicest deals anybody could race for.
Congratulations again, Mark. Good night. Give him a nice round of applause. Don't stop. Don't you start. It's going good. Mark, there's a buddy of yours here tonight. Where's Bill Locke? Where's Bill Locke at? Raise your hand. Ladies and gentlemen, through special dispensation with Bill France and NASCAR, we did let a drag racer in here this evening. Bill Locke is over here, ladies and gentlemen. He's Mark McClintock's friend, which I'm not really sure what that means, but Bill Locke always sits in turn 3 over at Belclair Speedway every Friday night, whether there's 500 people in that corner or 50. He's a racer's racer, and I'm glad to see him here. Give Bill Locke a nice round of applause. He's a hell of a guy right there, Bill Locke, ladies and gentlemen. Mark, congratulations. Good luck next year. Mark McClintock, ladies and gentlemen. Are we going to Rhonda's end now? Okay, it's Rhonda. Rhonda got a couple of Duracells for that dress. I'll tell you that right now. We're going to talk about Belclair Speedway now. A's, B's, we're doing alphabetical. We had 3 champions this season. I was the announcer at Belclair this season. We had the modified class, the super modifieds they call them this year, the IMCA modifieds, and the straight stock. And the modified champion from St. Charles, Missouri, Belclair this year, Mr. Mike Hammerly, ladies and gentlemen, Hammerman. That's right, I get to move out of the way. Obviously, I'm not wearing sunglasses. I hope you can see the trophy, Mike. Are you done? Okay, we'll talk to Mike for a second. Mike, congratulations. You had modified cars, you had late model cars, you had Belleville cars, you had Tri-City cars, you had all kind of cars. Where's the orange thing going 1994?
Well, we're probably going to concentrate on late model, run this modified whenever we can.
You had a tough season again working those cars. I'm telling you, being on your pit crew, I mean, this is a 24-hour-a-day job, isn't it?
Yes, I work racing pretty nice in the league.
That's a tough deal. Congratulations again, Mike. We hope to see you on the racetrack. The Hammer Man from St. Charles, give a nice round of applause. Mr. Mike Hammer, ladies and gentlemen. IMCA Modifieds in Belleville, and I mean to tell you, the IMCA Modifieds, and I really don't need to tell you this, that class is really getting momentum, it's really picking up some speed, and we've seen some tremendous IMCA Modified racing throughout the greater St. Louis area this season. We had good racers and good race cars at Belclair once again. In 1993, the IMCA Modified champion was Mr. Tom Radicek, ladies and gentlemen. Tom Radicek. Here comes Tom. And Tom will be getting his driver's license next week. Tom, congratulations. It was a good year at Belleville for you, but not so good at the home front. The floods kind of took your shop down the stream, didn't it?
Yeah, we had to relocate our shop, and the guy in town was really nice, so let us use his building. It all worked out.
Tom, where are you going in 1994?
We're probably going to race Belleville again. It's kind of our home track, close to home. We have to make a few changes, especially in the motor department, but we're going to try and do it again.
Tom, again, congratulations, 1993. Good luck in 94. Tom Radicek, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad these guys didn't talk as much as Barry Tripp did, I'll tell you. Is Joe here? Is Joe Velez here? I didn't see Joe in the building. Is Joe here? Joe Velez? Joe Dog? I feel bad for Joe for several reasons. Number one, Belclair Speedway did not have a banquet this year. Joe Velez, after 9 years of scraping and clawing and scratching and begging Marty Smith for parts and motors and everything else, finally won a championship. Joe Velez was a street stock champion of Belle Claire Speedway in 1994, and we congratulate him. Give a nice round of applause, please. Joe Velez. And now, if you get your hand out of your pocket, come on down here. It's your turn, Jim. Yes, reach your pole. Well, no, you sit down first. I apologize. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. You can stay for just one more minute. We have special awards all evening long. All evening long, special awards. Everybody's going to leave here with a t-shirt, a hat, or a special award before the night's over, I guarantee you. We have a lot of awards. A whole table full of awards up here. The first award we would like to present is the Media Award. Now, the individual is not here, but once again, I want to hit on this for just a second because there's a lot of people in this room, a lot of influential people in this room, and personally, if you think that we're getting enough media coverage, raise your hand. Look around. We're not. We're simply not. Unless you live in Highland. And in Highland, they have like a supplement, 3 pages, you know what I mean? The reporter comes to your house and they can talk to you if you don't get the paper, you know what I mean, about racing in Highland. But we need more coverage. The Post does a fair job. The News Democrat every once in a while, but gosh, we're short on coverage. And believe me, I don't need to tell you. I mean, I'm preaching to the choir. We have some of the best racing anywhere. Anywhere. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, specials on Monday and Wednesday. People come from all over the Midwest, all over the country to Tri-City, to Highland, to Belleville, to Peevely, etc., to watch us race. And I do wish we could get more coverage in the newspaper. And whatever you can do, whatever editor you can be, whatever article you can send, I encourage you to do it because we're the best, bar none. Some of the best racers in the country right now started racing right here in the Midwest. At this time, Mr. Denny Doors, will you come down, please, Denny? Jamie Hall is a recipient of this year's Media Award, and Jamie's not here, but accepting for Jamie is Mr. Denny Doors, ladies and gentlemen. Give Denny a nice round of applause for coming down here to walk around today. And Denny's going to sit for Jamie and tell you a little bit about this man.
Can I ask a question first? When you had that bout with that horse, are you wearing a hat? Okay. For those of you that don't know Jamie Hall, he's the publisher of the Midwest Motorsports News down in Bertrand, Missouri. And it's a pretty good little newspaper. He does mostly things with dirt racetracks, a lot of things in the St. Louis area, and some of the things down in Missouri, UMP, some of the sprint car racing, the 360 series, and that type of thing. Jamie, I talked to him this week. He couldn't be here tonight. He's at the UMP Modified Banquet down in Kentucky, and he really appreciates the award and wants to thank the St. Louis area for their contribution.
Thank you, Denny. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to turn over now to my horse trainer, Mr. Jim Childers. Taught him well, didn't I? Boy, I'll tell you what, now I can see people. That light right there on top of his head. Boy, I thought we had an empty building here for a minute, but didn't know it was a rose, did you? It turns red, too. I like it.
Go ahead and talk on with your wife.
All right, our next award is the Godfrey Motor Speedway Award. And this was part of the, I believe, Tri-Track group. And folks, let me tell you, it's a pretty neat deal. You had 3 racetracks, accumulated points at all 3, and a pretty good deal. Right now, I'd like to introduce the late model track champion, Mr. Ed Dixon. Is Ed here? Joe Center. I know Joe's here. Joe, would you accept for Ed Dixon, please? I'm on the right side this time. Okay. Joe does a fine job too. He writes articles for the National Speed Sports News. He also has a fine line of racing apparel at several racetracks in the area. Let's give Ed Dixon a round of applause. Tell him we all clap for him. Okay, the UMP Modified champion was Jake Seats. Is Jake here? All right, I thought he was going to be by himself. Big Jake. All right, Jake, in about 15 minutes or less, can you summarize your 1993 racing season?
Well, in 1993, we had a good year, but it was a tough year, and it was a challenge. And I want to thank Gilbert and Shirley Kindler for backing me all the way.
What about 1994?
well, they're still with me, and we're going to try to repeat the same thing, but we're going to try to get Peely in there this year.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, give me a round of applause. Jake Siege, your UNP Basketball Champion. Right now it's time for another one of our special awards. At this time, I'd like to introduce Miss Lois Taylor.
The club has several achievement awards that we present each year, and this one I think is really very appropriate because we have watched this young man grow up as a race fan and then get a car and begin to start to race in our area. And we really believe that he will be one of our, I guess we could say, heroes, our people that we look up to in the near future as he improves upon his career. And he finished almost winning the championship out at St. Charles this year, and I'd like to recognize a club member, Jimmy Barrett, and ask him to come up and receive an achievement award from St. Charles.
I hope he's quick on a racetrack. Well, somebody dared me to have you talk. I don't know what I'm in for, folks. I've never met the guy before. Congratulations. Great year in '93. Thanks. I didn't know I had Sandy Swindell up there. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened this year?
Well, we started out with '93 a little slow. We worked with the car a little bit. We finally got her going right. And we were trying to keep up with that guy right over there, but we couldn't do it. Maybe next year.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give him a round of applause, please. Moving on now, we got Open Wheel champion, and let me tell you, this is quite an honor. I made it from my heart. I saw this guy race his very first midget race. He's a veteran of quarter midgets, and it took him a few years to get it done, but I never did tell him this, but that first race, I kind of had it in the back of my head. This guy is going to be a champion. And he captured the 1993 Midwest Auto Racing Association Championship, Donnie Lehman from Springfield, Illinois. All right, got a new pair of boots on, new pants. Man. I don't think it works that way. Donnie, great job, 93.
Thank you. It really takes a lot to stay ahead of Steve Knepper the whole year long. And we brought out the brand new Maxim chassis car. And I told Dad, I said, right off the bat, I said, well, let's go down to Chili Bowl and let's start by putting it in the show. Well, we first of all had to build the car in 10 days to do that. So we get to Chili Bowl, we're still bolting the seat in the car, and the other guys are out there practicing. They get done with practice, we're ready to roll out. They had to add a special section so we could even get the car started that night. We're still finishing it up. Ended up getting the Wolfgang Hard Charger Award for coming from the C main and making the A on the last lap there to get into it. And I remember Perry, I thought I was running the top that night. I didn't know there was another group on the other side of the hill out there. We ended up running fourth by about a car length. I was still trying to catch him after they threw the checker. But yeah, with Hoosier Tire and RJS Safety Equipment and Charlene Meats putting a wonderful schedule together for Mara, we're just looking forward to come back next year and try and keep Stevie down one more.
You ended 1993 probably better than a lot of drivers ever dreamt of even finishing a race. Can you tell us a little bit about that ending, and what about the momentum going into 94?
Oh, we feel like we're sitting on top of the world right now. We went down to Calhoun, Louisiana, thinking maybe we could win one of their ARCA shows down there with the Hooters Super Cup. And we ended up winning two of them back-to-back down there. The first night, we got done, and I thought, well, this is great. Now, tomorrow night we can run it. If we finish in the top 5, we made some money, we can go home and be happy. Now, at the end of the second night, we sitting up there in front of the TV cameras again, and I still didn't believe it. And the only thing we lost that night was a heat race to Ronnie Schumann. And we ran across the start and finish line, and I was actually on top of him when we crossed it, so we wasn't giving up then.
What about 1994? How's it looking?
We're going to come out with another new Maxim car besides driving for my dad's team. I'm going to supply another team for a new driver out of Springfield, Doug Cannon. We're going to go for the points championship and Rookie of the Year both.
Congratulations, fantastic year. Give him a round of applause. Little Donnie Lehman. By now, we'd like to throw it back up top to Lois for the Bob Mueller Award.
Approximately 4 years ago, the Bob Mueller Award was established in memory of, at that time, it was a racer by the name of Habe Haberling, which many of you may not have known, but he raced a late model, ran all across the Midwest, down in the South, and drove a car that was owned by Bob Mueller. Approximately 2 years ago, Bob Mueller passed away, and at the request of Bob Quinn and the Mueller family, we are continuing the award. And I would like to ask Bob Quinn to come up here if he's here tonight, and also if any of the Mueller family or Don McGinnity is here, we'd also like to ask you to come up. The criteria that was established for this particular award was that it should go to someone who is part of making racing successful. We have drivers, we have pit crew people, we have sponsors, but then we also have many people who are the behind the scenes individuals, the people who put the associations together, the flagmen, the scorers, and I could go on to list, and I'm sure you know who all of those people are. And I'd like to ask Don Raymond to come up here and accept the award, because I don't believe our recipient is here tonight, but the individual that we would like to recognize is Charlene Mintz, who is the president of MERA. She has worked very hard to make MERA successful, and I believe that the success of the midget program that we see in the Midwest is attributed to her efforts.
Gentlemen, let me tell you, I've announced for MERA back in 1985 up till the present year, and I can think of no better person to receive that award. Donnie?
I agree. Charlene's put several wonderful years together for the club. She gets us all the way out. We run in Denver and down in Texas. I mean, for a club, we don't even have a host track. You know, we run all across the country, Kansas, everywhere else. We're lucky enough this year we ran several times at Belle Claire. Hopefully we can do that again next year. We'd like to get back at Granite City a couple more times. And I mean, Charlene's working hard, I know already, for next year's schedule. And I know she's sick right now, but guarantee you next weekend she'll be starting on the schedule again.
Tell her we all love her, and she deserves the award.
Sure, thank you.
Well, our next award will be given to the Southern Illinois Quarter Midget Association. This is a Club Sportsman Award. Do we have a representative here from the Southern Illinois Quarter Midget Association? Probably winning. Well, ladies and gentlemen, they will be getting a special award from the St. Louis Auto Racing Fan Club. Let's give them a round of applause, please. Okay, we turn it back over to Mr. Mike.
Thank you, Jim. Next up on our program, we'd like to acknowledge the champions with SARA, Southwestern Auto Racing Association, out of Highland, Illinois. I had the pleasure of working on Saturday night with that group of people up there in Highland, Illinois. A lot of them had to go back to their cell on Sunday morning, but we had a great time. Highland is the I wish I had a hairspray concession in Highland, Illinois. I'd be a millionaire up there, but they have a great time. They pack them in, and we had 3 great champions this year. 2 first-time champions and 1 six-time recipient of the championship honors. First of all, we'll start with the street stock division. The 1993 champion was Mr. Mark Aller. Mark's not here, but go ahead, give Mark a nice round of applause. And here's Butch Kruckenberg. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Butch Kruckenberg, and that's not his sport coat. Hi, Butch. Butch, I know that Mark can't be here. Did Mark tell you to tell the people anything?
Yeah, he said thank everybody for the support this year, and we wanted to just come in and having a wonderful season and enjoyed it all. And we're very happy with winning the championship and the Car of the Year award this year.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next Tonight Show host, Butch Kruckenberg. Give him a nice round of applause. What a guy. He was going to say nothing. Did Marty make it? Marty is not here. Marty Smith, ladies and gentlemen, is the sportsman champion for the 6th time at Highland Speedway. Give a nice round of applause, Marty Smith. Is anyone accepting Marty Smith? And this is the president of SARA, Mr. Mike Sika. You've got a new shirt for this. Mike, congratulations. Thank you for coming by. Step over there and see Mrs. Don't Go to the Movie with her, the lady in red. Remember that doing your back? Pow, pow, pow. Got it right on the other side of the show. Mike, what are we looking for in 1994 with Highland Speedway?
We're making a few choice changes, I guess you could say. We're going to run a SARA late model class this year. Our modified are moving up. Our modified our sportsmen, are going to open wheel. Street stock made a lot of changes, and I think I just hope all of our champions return to make everything as easy as it was this year.
So to clarify what Mike just said, the modified division is no longer there. They voted to go ahead and call their full body cars, and they all will be full body cars. It's going to be a late model car, so it's going to be an SARA late model. The sports will be open wheel, and the street stock is still the street stock.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mike Seeger, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad we got through that. See, when he eats a lot, he can't talk. I know that. And in the modified division, winning by the way, Mark Oliver was a first-time champion. Marty Smith, 6th-time champion. And in the modified division, his first championship from Pierron, Illinois, Mr. Randy Cordy, ladies and gentlemen. Your wife told me don't touch her. I know. His wife is really nice, but she's mean. She's really mean. Randy, congratulations. Winning your first championship probably was one of the toughest things you've done in a long time, isn't it?
Yeah, I had to drive a couple other people's cars to do it.
It was a great season on Highland Speedway. Last night, last race, tremendous competition all year long. Mark Faust, I'll get that right. This is on camera. Mark Faust gave you a chase. In fact, you and Mark chased each other all season long.
Yeah, I like Mark. It seems like every year me and him are fighting for this thing.
It was a great year up at Highland Speedway. What are you looking for in 1994, Randy?
We're going to try and hit and miss all the racetracks. We're going to hit Allied sometimes, and we're going to go to run some UMP shows, and we'll be at Highland once in a while.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, your 1993 modified SARA champion, Randy Cordy. At this time, and I know he's been waiting for this, the president of the St. Louis Auto Racing Fan Club is going to come up to the microphone and talk about the George Award. Mr. Hartnett, no, you can stay up there, Mr. Hartnett. We're not going to make you walk as far. I know, that's right. I know, it's those shoes. He's got those little shoes. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Hartnagel.
Thank you, sir. The George Award was established in memory of a club member, Frank Sudd. I didn't know Frank. I'm a fairly new club member myself, but I didn't know him, but the way I understand it, when he needed something done, he could say, well, just let George do it. Well, the person that getting it this year seems like he grabbed the bull by the horns and done a lot of things that we needed done, and I know he's been a lot of big help to me. So, Dennis Stories, step down and accept your award, please.
Notice Dennis gets 2 girls to present the trophy.
One on each shoulder.
I like that, yeah. Denny, hang on just a second. I didn't know this gentleman that this award's named after. Did you have a chance to meet him and talk with him at all?
No, unfortunately I haven't, but I kind of do that once in a while too, call everybody George, and I, especially when I pick up the phone, I usually talk to the first lady of the St. Louis Auto Racing Fan Club and ask if George is there, so I get to talk to George quite a bit, but no, I didn't. This is something that I would like to want some, all the time. I was always looking forward to this and didn't really do anything for this, and it's really, it feels good to have something like this, and I'm kind of glad that I got this before everybody found out what I just did last week. The November issue of Trackside, I'm sorry, is going to be rather bleak, so to speak. After about 2 weeks, it does take a lot of time to put these things together, especially when you got to wait to get things from a lot of people to put in these racetracks. Take note, don't wait till the last minute, okay? I had about 2 weeks worth of work into the newsletter to get ready to go out with all the banquet stuff going on, so on and so forth. And I blame it on the Slick 50 because I was watching the finish of the race when I blew the whole damn thing away. There will be no newsletter in November. You get one in December, big one.
Now, let me get that trophy back, Jenny.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's a fine man, a great racing enthusiast, a great announcer. Denny Doyle's. Give him a nice round of applause. All right, I-55 Raceway. I-55 Raceway. What a season I-55 Raceway did not have in 1993. Mother Nature black flagged just about every Saturday night program and some of the special shows, but they still managed to put some race cars on the racetrack. The racetrack pretty much was in great shape. It was a fact that you just couldn't get there unless you had an arc. That was the problem. There was a lot of water down there. But they had three great champions, once again, from Washington, Missouri. The late model champion at I-55 was Mr. Ed Dixon. Give Eddie a nice round of applause. And Joe Center, you want to come around again, Joe? Let's see, do we get a different girl for Joe this time? Huh? Okay, well, that's okay. I mean, Joe can have his picture taken with all the girls here this evening. That's right, he's got those, no, Joe, you don't get both girls. I mean, this is a Denny Dory's only thing, and that's it. Do we have a, okay, this is Janet Paul. Oh, come on, this is, you can't believe that? Huh? Joe, yeah, Joe's got those cute hats. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Center accepting for Ed Dixon. Superstock champion. Ladies and gentlemen, I like this guy. I like this guy because he's got a neat name. His first name is Max, so I get to say Mad Max. Mad Max Kirkendall, ladies and gentlemen, here he is, right here. He just finished eating. Don't let me, Max. It's on camera. Okay, thanks. Max was a super stock champion. Max, stay right there. Let's talk a little bit about it. You going super stock in 1994. What's the Maxter going to do?
Oh, we're going to stay with the same thing we've done. Got a lot of friends in the class. We've been a lot of different tracks. I kind of enjoy what we're doing, so we're going to stay with it.
You have a lot of fun, don't you?
I think we're going to kind of revamp the car a little bit. We're going to lighten up the war wagon and try to chase Jeff down a little bit more. But I think we're going to do the same thing we did.
Congratulations, 1993, your champion, Superstock I-55, Mr. Max Kirkendall, ladies and gentlemen. And in the modified division at I-55, a guy that's been around a lot of different racetracks, and this guy knows only one way. You know, take the spring off the carburetor, start it, and let it go flat out. Mr. John Seats. Is Johnny Seats here tonight? Is John Seats here tonight? This is not, trust me, this is not John Seats, but we'll talk to this guy. Give John a nice round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Johnny Seats was the I-55 modified winner. And your name is?
Dave Jones.
Dave Jones of the famous locker.
Somewhat.
Dave, you're accepting for John. Where's John tonight? But where?
John's UMP Modified Banquet. He's accepting the awards down there.
Boy, what a guy.
He asked me if I'd accept his up here, and since I owned the car he drove last year, I thought, no problem.
It sounds good. Well, Dave, congratulations on the ownership and congratulations on the championship.
Thank you. And John wants you all to know, thanks a lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dave Jones accepting for Johnny Seats. And moving right along, we're going to turn back to Mr. Jim.
Yeah, we're right on time, Mike. We're doing good.
Well, as you know, Winston Cup crowned the six-time Winston Cup champion.
Well, it's hard to say that, but
Dale Earnhardt won his sixth championship. That's right. Got a war going on here, Family Feud. And, of course, Steve Kinzer, 13-time World Outlaw Champion. He deserves an award. Right now, let's move a little bit closer to home, to St. Charles Speedway.
And I had the privilege of announcing a couple races there, I think in 1985 and 1986, and from all the water you people have had in the area, St. Charles was definitely the track to be, high and dry. And right now we'd like to introduce the Superstock champ, Mr. Jeff Lombardi. Is he Lombardi? What's the B for? Oh, yeah. Here's your reward. Has anybody got an award for Jeff? Still kind of like Lombardi. Excuse me. Hey, Jeff, tell us a little bit about this year.
Well, it was a pretty good year this year. I got handed to my wife for going 42 nights this year, for one, and Ken Oakey for helping me a bunch. He stuck with me all night, or all 3 nights this year. It's rough going 3 nights, but it was a good year.
What about 1994?
I hope to have the same car back out and possibly an IMCA car.
All right, that looks good. Give me a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff Lombardi. Oh boy, yeah. Moving on to the sportsman champion, Bobby Martinoni. Martintoni. Bobby, are you here? Bobby's not here. Janet will accept. All right. Stealing cars.
Oh, you want Jimmy? Go ahead, Jimmy.
Oh, I get to get my picture taken? All right. Let's give him a round of applause, please. He's not here. We appreciate him. We're moving now to the modified champion, and boy, I know I can get this one right. Jake Seats. Come on back up there, Jake. Well, it's your second trip up here. You had a great year, didn't you?
Yes, we did. We had a good year in 1993.
What about 94? You going to go to these same racetracks, or you think you might venture on a little bit?
No, we're planning on running Godfrey and Peabody and St. Charles again. I want to thank the pit crew that stood behind us and went every night with us, and again, the car owner. Thank him a bunch for 1993.
Well, Big Jake, congratulations once again. Looking forward to meeting you up here again in 1994. Jake Seats. We move now to the late models. Bo Smith is Bo here. Bo is the late model champion. I don't know if Bo remembers Paducah International Raceway. Boy, we had a good time down there one rainy night. Yeah, congratulations. Good to see you again.
Thank you. We did pretty good this year. We won St. Charles and got third Peabody. And we led the points until the very last race, and our rear end broke down. So we ended up finishing like 5 points on first, 1 on second. We're going to run for the overall next year and try to do the triple track deal.
What about some of the bigger late model races? You going to try to attend those, maybe the World 100, something like that?
We did that this year. We didn't do too bad. We qualified like 75th out of 190. And, that wasn't too bad with getting no practice on the track. So we might try to do that a little bit.
Speaking of racetracks, what is your favorite track?
Tri-City, actually. I wish the late models would come back to there.
Well, how many want to see late models back at Tri-City? I bet you knew that. They want some late model racing. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give Bo Smith a round of applause, please. Your late model champion at the St. Charles Speedway. It's time once again for another one of our special awards. We'd like to introduce Lois Taylor once again.
Thank you, Jim. For 13 years now, we've been recognizing outstanding achievers from the metropolitan area. And there are 3 people that will be receiving awards from the club, but unfortunately are not able to be with us tonight. But I just want to take a moment to recognize their accomplishments. I think all of our thoughts need to be with Marty Smith tonight, as his father passed away several days ago, and unfortunately he's not able to be here. But he is a 6-time champion at Southwestern Auto Racing Association, and we will see that he gets his appreciation award from the club. Also, we're competing with a Charlie Sentman trade show and auction in the UMP Banquet, which has taken a number of our racers to those particular events. And then also there are some races going on down in South Carolina that took a number of our racers down there too. So we hope that they all do well tonight and are recognized for their accomplishments, and those guys who are racing, the Walshes and the Schraders, that they'll come home in victory lane. But there are two people that I would particularly like to mention for their accomplishments in UMP this year. And the first one is Mark Boyd. I don't believe Mark is here. We had hoped that he would be able to make it, but he did very well racing with UMP this year, and we're very pleased that he's from the St. Louis area and represented us in the way that he did. And then, of course, the gentleman that we've honored so many times from Allied Auto Racing Association, the local track champions, Eddie Dixon, and I don't think that there are words that can describe the accomplishments that Eddie and the board's house have been able to put together. So we want to congratulate them on their efforts, and the club will see that they get their reward.
Time now for our awards presentation to the St. Francis County Speedway, and this will be very quick. They're having their year-end banquet tonight as well. So they're not here, but let's give them a round of applause. Your street stock champ was Troy Nager. Your sprint champ was Jason Smith, and your modified sportsman winner was Brent Thompson. Let's give those three guys a round of applause, please. Okay, the St. Louis Auto Racing, Karting Association, St. Louis Karting Association. Let me tell you, folks, these folks were really hit hard by the high waters this year. I think they got 5 events in this entire 1993 racing season. Do we have any of the karting champions here tonight? If you do, I wish you'd come up a little bit. Come on up. We don't know exactly who all is here. You have your name, please, Bill. Bill Bob. Bob, what class did you run in?
We run 4-cycle heavy.
4-cycle heavy. You know, ESPN2, good friend Gary Lee and Larry Rice, this whole month has been go-kart racing. What about some street races down in this area? Do they still have them around here?
They run Fenton Park, I think it's sometime in April, they run down to Fenton Park, providing that the water is down. From what I understand, Mexico, Missouri, there's a local guy that runs with the club that's putting on a street race up in Mexico. As far as other street races, I don't know of any unless we can get some kind of deal with St. Louis International. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. That's kind of like an alternative track for us if we happen to get hit again.
Can you tell us a little bit about your club?
Well, I'm not real familiar with it. I've only been racing with the club for 2 years now. And so I don't really know that much about it. I know that they started off like 10 or 12 years ago running in St. Charles Speedway, and that they would wait at the gate until they had enough people that they could rent the track for the entire night before they go ahead and sign in and commit themselves to the track. So if they didn't have enough people, then they wouldn't race. That's about all I know about it. You know, back in '84, I think we got the Earl Whitman County Park down at Telegraph and the Merrimack River. And that's been our home track for, probably 8 years now.
Well, go-karts has been a stepping stone for a lot of great drivers. What's maybe in your future?
Well, it's kind of a hard deal to say because, it's all out of my pocket. I get a little help from Paul Lawson at C&E Bolt and Tool, but for the most part, it all come out of my pocket. And so I'm just going to try to run the go-kart deal next year and see what happens. And I hope something will happen, but,
Well, congratulations on a good year. Let's give you a round of applause, please. We'd also like to recognize a go-karter that did quite well, Charles Rokicki. He was the IKF World Champion, and he was the nephew of Kurt Lehman. So Charles did a fantastic job. Right now, I'd like to introduce a guy that, have you given the Founders Award yet? Okay, we're going to do it right now. Mr. George Hartnagel. George, if you would.
Okay. Before I do the Founders Award, I'd like to thank you guys for bringing your cars in. With the wet weather and stuff out there, they made a little extra effort to get them in. Gary Archibald with his late model back here in this corner. And Doc Logan sitting over here owns the number 16 Champ car back there. Anybody was a Duke going, he started out a little rough, but they took it to Sacramento and did pretty good with that. Tom Utley with his modified back in the corner, beautiful car back there, and Perry Tripp's ARCA car back there. Perry's going to do real good in ARCA. I can tell him watching him a few races he ran this year. He's going to be there. He's going to be up there on the top of it. So now I'd like to go ahead with the Founders Award, and this is the 9th time that we're giving this out. It goes to a person that has helped bring some new farm racing into the St. Louis area or something on that order. And this year, we had a guy that was very instrumental in bringing in a new group of racers to get started here. And they ran with a limited number of cars, but I think it's going to grow too. And Bob Gallus for starting the 360 sprints down in Tri-City, and very instrumental in getting them in. I'd like to have you come up and accept the Founders Award.
Bob, congratulations winning the Founders Award. Again, as George said, 360 all of a sudden has been a number to be reckoned with. It's gained in popularity. Looks like you guys are going to have some real solid growth in the coming years.
I went out to California and they run real heavy out there with the 360s. And I talked about winning into it. First Bob was kind of like, I don't know about this. But it did work out pretty good. And we were a limited bunch of cars there, but you got to remember, Bob's got a big track there. It's hard on engines and hard on cars. But if you look at it in the overall sense, he had a good year. And we're going to get more cars next year. We have more guys calling about it. And I think around here, most people had to get talked into it. That was the biggest thing. Once you get talked into it, guys will go that way. And it's going.
I think you're right, Bob. Not only 360, but you're also a Champ car guy. You got some stuff off the house in that racing class also.
Well, the 16 car goes out to Phoenix on pavement. The kid will be the first time on pavement, so I hope it ain't going to be like New Coin. I get a little worried about that. And Swindell's going out there this year for sure because he put the foot down on Dale and says, hey, we're going out this year. So that's where we got both cars going out there. That'll be at the end of January, 1st of February.
Bob, I'm not going to ask you if any trade secrets out there. Ladies and gentlemen, for those who don't know Bob Gallus and his operation, they're on the cutting edge of frames and chassis and stuff like this. You ship a lot of equipment all over the country, don't you, Bob?
Yeah, we got two going out. The oldest boys out here right now. Perry Farrell come up and picked up two. We got another one going up to California. We got to get them out. That's the biggest thing. This is the busiest time of year, to be honest with you.
Well, Bob, we won't keep you because I want to get back to the shop. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bob Gallus. Give a nice round of applause. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we've got two more racetracks to talk about. Actually, the second half of Tri-City Speedway because Allied raced there this season. But Tri-City ran 5 classes of cars this season. With Allied, they ran the sportsman, the street stock, and the modifieds. And then Tri-City had their own 2 classes of cars, the 360 Sprints and the Pro Stocks. And tonight we'd like to congratulate and acknowledge the winner of the 360 Sprinter, the champion this year, Mr. Tommy Scott. Tom, are you here? Tommy, here he is right here, ladies and gentlemen, Tommy Scott. And while Tommy takes his award, I'm going to tell you something. Tom was named the All-Illinois Sprint Car Champion. In other words, all his wins and all his records and all his racing with the national newspapers in the state of Illinois. Tommy, kind of a great season for you with this award and also the Illinois State Sprint Car Champ.
I can't complain about any of it. Bob, this is real wood.
It's tree wood, Bob. It's tree wood. Okay.
It's not glued together. It's really wood.
A little inside thing, right, Tommy? Okay, all right. Tommy, 360s again in 1994?
Yeah, I've got a big car too. I've got a World Outlaw car too. I didn't run it but about 5 times. But I think I'm going to stay with the 360s because I just like the program.
Level playing field.
Basically, I think it's... I don't know how to answer that, to be honest.
That's what it's intended to be. We all know about racing, ladies and gentlemen. The champion in the Sprint Cars 360 Granite City, Mr. Tom Scott. Congratulations, sir. I won't ask any more trick questions. Okay. In the pro stock, and these things are neat cars. If you haven't seen the pro stock grass, I think they were kind of ASA looking Camaros and Firebirds and stuff like that. Sharp looking cars. He picked up a trophy for somebody else. Now he's going to pick up a trophy for himself, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Dave Jones, pro stock champion at Tri-City Speedway. Did you get your picture of this girl before? You went, okay, that's good. What happened? We lost our other girl? We lost? No, yeah. We'll try to get Mrs. Paul in. Okay. All right. Dave, congratulations again. You've always, and for those of you who've watched Dave over the year, Dave, you've always had some of the best looking racing equipment in town, and I know it's got to take a lot of work to keep those cars together like that.
I've got to thank that Dave Waters, car builder. He does a really great job.
Well, Davey, congratulations. Where you headed in 1994?
Well, I got to thank the pit crew, John Walker, number 1, Chris Barnett, and my engine builder. For the first time, Gordon Shellis, the engine builder, come with me tonight. And
is he in trouble? Can he come out of the house? I mean,
well, he is trouble sometimes, you know what I mean?
I understand. You watch this guy at the beer stand, all right?
He's my secret weapon.
All right. Dave, what are you going to do? What are you going to do in 1994?
Well, I really don't know yet. I'm kind of leaning towards kind of quitting, but then again, I'm leaning towards I can't quit because there's so many of them gunning for me. I got to stay there.
Well, whatever you do, David, congratulations with the championship. Good luck in 1994. Davey Jones, ladies and gentlemen, give a nice round of applause. Triple track. Godfrey, I-55, St. Charles, the triple track race group in 1993. Once again, the middle track had some problems. Even Godfrey, amazing. I thought Godfrey was way high on a hill. Godfrey even had some water and had some problems up there. But again, they had a good season. We have 3 champions in the late model modified and super stock divisions. At this time, we'd like to acknowledge the triple track race group champion in the late models, Mr. Ed Dixon. And accepting for Ed Dixon is Joe Center again. I thought Joe had a different sport coat. He could have changed clothes a little bit, but Joe's coming back out in the same stuff. It's okay. That's right, Joe. You know what, Dave? I'm going to ask him that. You know, does everybody know what Joe Center is? The souvenir guy, the National Speed Sport News guy, the belt buckle guy, the hat guy, the T-shirt guy, the little plastic car guy. And I want to ask him, Joe, are there any new plastic cars in the season 1994?
Oh yeah.
You don't want to say anything now, do you? You don't want to tip your hand. Really, keep it a secret. And these are American-made plastic cars, right? Right. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Center, get out of here. His name's the Speed Sport News guy. Accepting for Mr. Ed Dixon. You gotta go with him. That's all you got. All right. In the IMCA modified, this guy comes up. I think is he the only guy 3 times in it? I think he's the only guy 3 times in it. Ladies and gentlemen, the IMCA modified, or was it UMP? And I stand corrected. I don't mean to say that incorrectly. Was it UMP or IMCA? UMP, all right. UMP modified champion, the triple track man, Mr. Jake Seats again. Tell you what, Jake, you're getting a lot of wear out of that sweater, buddy. I'll tell you that right now. I know I had nothing to do with playing. Who's going to hit me? Well, Jake, I think it's all been said, so we're just going to have you sit down, okay? Okay. All right, Jake Seats, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations. Get out of here. We're short on time. Look, I looked over there and saw the band. See, that's where the band is. That's the band's table over there, ladies and gentlemen. Where are they, in the bathroom? They're in the bathroom. They're in the band. Okay, now then. Super stock. And this guy's this guy's been up here before, right? Because you butchered his name up real bad. Ladies and gentlemen, the Superstock Triple Track champ is Mr. Jeff LaBob, and here he comes again. Right there. And I've got a question to ask Jeff LaBob. I hope you appreciate this question. Jeff, explain to me this thing about your wife in 42 nights. Was she?
Halfway through the season, she was getting tired of racing. I was supposed to quit, but people got flooded out, helped me out a little bit, and we're working on it for next year.
The flood actually helped LaBob. Can you believe it? The flood? Well, what'd you do on Saturday night?
I went Six Flags quite a few times. I tried to make up for Sunday and Friday.
I understand, it's tough. Ladies and gentlemen, give a nice round of applause. The 1993 Triple Track Superstock champion is Jeff LaBob. That's the first thing I thought. What does she do 42 nights? I don't know. Okay. You guys are too easy. All right. At this time, we're going to throw it back to Lois Taylor. And Lois is going to tell us about a new special award that the fan club is presenting tonight. And she will also help us wrap up this evening's program. Lois?
Thank you, Mike. Last year, I know many of you were at the banquet and many of you are fan club members, and we had talked about creating a special award. And at our fan club meeting, a vote was taken, and we decided to do that. And the first special award that I would like to present tonight is going to be carried on in a tradition as our Dale Mueller and Kurt Lehman awards are. The award will be called the Arnie Knepper Memorial Award. And Wanda, if you would, I'd like to ask you to come up here and stand with us, please, if you would, for the presentation. But for those of you who knew Arnie, and I won't go on too long, but if you read in your program, there's a brief explanation as to why we have created the award, the thoughts and the love that we had for this particular man. And I know that having been president of the fan club for close to 10 years, he was a frequent guest at our meetings, and there was never a time when he couldn't tell us a special story or teach us something about racing. And we believe that this is one of the most appropriate things that we could do so that we could continue on with his memory. The Knepper family goes back many, many years in racing, and they have contributed so much. And Arnie fought very hard to overcome the disease that he had. When we set, when we set the criteria for the award, we determined that it would go to an open wheel racer, and we would use two of the particular tracks that he liked to race on, one being the DuQuoin Mile and the other the Springfield Mile. And the selection process that we used was that it would go to the driver who finished the highest in points at those two races each particular year. And I think it is extremely appropriate this year that the first recipient of that award is to be Jack Hewitt. And of course, I think all of you know the battle that Jack is going through right now. So I think it is even more appropriate that he is our first recipient. And Wanda, I don't know if there's anything you would like to say to the people that are present tonight.
I just would like to say that Arnie loved racing. He loved people. He loved people in the fan club. And he loved trophies and awards. And to him, it would be an extremely great honor. He's very proud to be the this man. And I don't think you could have chosen a better recipient to carry on his style of driving and life. Thank you.
Down there with Rhonda, we'd like for you two to present the award. Unfortunately, Jack cannot be with us tonight, but Jerry and Mary Niemiller are here, and they're going to accept the award in Jack's behalf. And I believe that they carry some words to us from Jack, so if I could get Mike to go down for
I guess we have to first ask how Jack is doing and what's the prognosis, what's it look like for him?
He's getting better each day here lately, it seems like. He got to eat turkey dinner last night. I don't know how soft it was, but I don't know if he had to run that turkey grinder, but he is swallowing now, and swallowing better every day, and he's talking better every day. I know he really appreciates this award, and I really appreciate being able to accept it for him.
Well, wish him our best, and again, we're looking forward to a speedy recovery. We hope everybody takes a chance and gets involved in the auction tonight. I know that's going to help out.
He sure will. He really appreciates it. He can't believe all the people across the United States what they're doing for him. He just can't believe it.
Well, he's a great race driver, a great gentleman, a great competitor, and we wish him the best of luck. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jack Hewitt receives the Running Connector Award, the first award in 1993. Lois?
The other award that the club voted to create was the Bill O'Danny Memorial Award. And before I tell you a little bit about Bill, I would like to remind you that we have 2 tapes that were sent in from ARCA, of which Bill was a longtime member, associate, co-founder, you name it, he was a supporter of ARCA and also of USAC. The one tape is some highlights of this year's races of Springfield and DuQuoin, and the other is called Tim Steele, Man of Steel. And he, of course, is the 1993 ARCA champion. Tim was due to be with us tonight, and unfortunately, when we were in Atlanta last weekend, he had committed to bring his car in to make an appearance here himself, and the fella who hauls the car for him when we were at the Georgia Dome putting on the Hooters announcement for their next year's racing plans, the fellow who hauls the car was run over by the car hauler. So this has been a bad week for the Steele family, and they are not able to be with us. But next year we will have Tim with us, and I would like for you, if you get an opportunity tonight, to watch the tape. They were put together by the media people from ARCA, and they send their greetings to you also because they are at one of the shows down in Louisville. It is rather unusual that we do not have one of the officials here. So I bring those words from Bob Loger, Ron Drager, all of those people, Jim Clark, that you have met in the past. But going back to the Bill O'Danny Memorial Award, Bill O'Danny was a member of our club. There are many people in this room whose lives he touched. I knew Bill for approximately 12 years. He became, to me, as I think almost all of us called him, Uncle Bill. He loved the sport of auto racing. He brought to this club a very close association with NASCAR. If you think back a few years ago when we had Bill France Sr., it was Bill O'Danny who brought him to us. And it was Bill who enabled us to make the contacts and to bring in many of the people that we did. He also made contacts for us in USAC, which allowed us to bring in Bobby Rahal and some of the other open wheel people that we have. I know my friend here to the right, Jim Childers, we have had a very close association with Bill, and this is probably one of the awards that will be most important to me to see that it gets carried on, because I don't think that there is a promoter who can follow in the steps of a man like Bill O'Danny. If you read his bio, you will see that he was a race promoter. But then if you look at the other side, his life before that was he was in charge of drug enforcement for the state of Illinois. So that very quiet, gentle, loving man who came to our banquet every year was also a man of steel. Our criteria is the same for the presentation of this award, and that was to go to the ARCA racer who finished the highest in points. And I was really surprised because we ran a little contest in trackside to see if anybody could guess who our recipient was. And unfortunately, no one mailed in an entry blank. We knew that Bob Keselowski won one of the races and that there were others who did quite well, but no one guessed who was going to be the recipient. And that first recipient for our award tonight is going to be Tim Steele. Tim is a fine young racer. He is, I believe, going to go far in NASCAR, Busch Grand National, whatever his next endeavors may be. He also intends to race with ARCA again. And I wish he could be here tonight because I'm sure that you would enjoy meeting him just as much as I've enjoyed being around with him this last year. So sometime this evening, please watch the tape that ARCA has put together for us, and we will see that he gets the award. And next year we will have both him and his car here. So I guess from there I give it. Oh, okay, yes. Jim Childers is a longtime announcer for ARCA and does those races, and he can tell you a little bit more about Tim.
Well, Tim's still in his 20s. I mean, that guy is pretty tough. I've had the honor to meet him, and actually, Springfield was the very first time he's ever raced on a dirt track. He hails from Coopersville, Michigan, and he got Rookie of the Year. But according to ARCA, if you win the championship and you receive Rookie of the Year, you got to give up one or the other. So Tim was very smart, so he gave up Rookie of the Year to Jeremy Mayfield, who lives in Nashville, Tennessee. But Tim competed in all 19 ARCA Hoosier Cup events. He had 3 wins, 11 top 5 finishes, and 12 top 10 finishes. He was the winner of the Ocean's 11 Resource Lap Leader. He led 632 laps in 12 events. He had 2 pole positions. He finished second in the Bill France Triple Crown. Now, that's just some of the highlights of this young racer. Folks, keep your eye on Tim Steele.
And now I'd like to recognize George Hardnagel for the purpose of presenting the Kurt Lehman Award.
The Kurt Lehman Award, this is probably our longest award that we have given. This will be the 33rd year for it. This goes to somebody who's contributed outstanding service to auto racing and dedicated their life to auto racing. And this person, I feel, meets that criteria because they worked awful hard in doing this. So this year, the Kurt Lehman Award will go to Lois Taylor.
Well, Lois, you had a great season in 1993. What about 1994?
Well, in 1994, I'm going to work for ARCA again. I had the opportunity to be in Atlanta, as I mentioned earlier, for the Big Hooter 3.
The Big Hooter?
Right. I don't believe this. But I also did get the opportunity to be invited to work for the Busch Grand National Series and also to work the Winston Cup race. I have come to find out, though, that my real love is with the individual racers here in the St. Louis area and being with the ARCA people, their family. When you work with some of the other associations, there is so much money there, and it is so political, and there is so much tension there that the real fun goes away. And this means so much to me because of the associations that I've had with the Winnie family, the research that my secretary Grace has done on Kurt Lehman, and I sort of feel like even though I did not know this man, that he's very special.
Well, Lois, congratulations. I wish we had more time to talk to you, but you have to give the next award, okay? All right, Lois Taylor, ladies and gentlemen.
Take a deep breath. The most prestigious award that the club gives is in honor of our founder. And there have been many recipients who have helped to promote our sport in various ways through the media, through radio, newspapers, TV, and as you can see in your program that we have presented this for a number of years. And our recipient tonight is an individual who puts his heart and soul into racing. There are many people who didn't think that he could do what he did. We thought we were going to lose this racetrack. We thought it was going to be a condominium. We thought it was going to be a housing project and all different kinds of things. But this individual believed that he could turn it around. And I think as we look at what has happened the last few years over at Tri-City Speedway, that has happened. And I'd like to ask Bob Winnie Jr. to come up here and accept the Dale Mueller Award.
Congratulations, Bobby. As Lois said, owning a racetrack is not always the greatest thing in the world to do, is it?
But you know, the thing is, that, if Dale Mueller was alive, he'd be there with me. Because this is close, because I remember my parents and Danny Fry's parents all going over to Grace and Dale's basement and having meetings. And, you know, if he could just see what this has come to now, it would be great. And, I don't know if I work for Dale or Dale work for me.
Well, Bobby, congratulations once again. Best of luck to you in 1994. You deserve the award. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bobby Wayne Jr. At this time, I think Lois has a special little a special thing that she wants to talk about.
This last year has been a different kind of year for the St. Louis Auto Racing Fan Club. I stepped down as president in February. Mike Thunder took over and proceeded to do many of our fan club activities, carry it on through the summer, and unfortunately experienced one of those things that many people have faced lately, and that was the loss of a job and had to look elsewhere for employment, and was forced to step aside as president of the fan club. A board meeting was called by Mike, and I think we were all rather taken by surprise, and I don't think there was probably one more surprised individual in the room than George Hartnagel, who was going along being very happy vice president. And I can remember that's how I started out, as a very happy-go-lucky vice president. You just did what you were asked to do, and things kind of all came together. And then all of a sudden one day, the presidency arrived. So George, from your officers and the board of directors, we would like for you to come up here. And we know that you've had a few trying months, and we just have a little token of our appreciation for what you've done, and you survived it all, your first banquet.
Like Lois said that night at the board meeting, that Mike handed me a letter saying he was quitting. I didn't have a typewriter. I would have wrote my own letter and passed it on down the line. This means a lot to me, and I decided the best thing I can do is do the best I can. And like she says, I'm not a real good speaker or anything like that, but I'm gonna try and stick it out for, I think there's another year left on this term. Try and do the best I can and see where we can go with it. So I thank everybody, and it's about time. I think we have a drawing for some of the prizes in the back, and we'll get the band fired up, get them going, and have some fun. So everybody enjoy yourself. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps it up for us, unless we check the head table again. Anything like Denny? Nothing? 50, what is that? 50-50? Timmy Barrett's bringing it up? Wait a minute. Oh, don't forget to see Tim Barrett for 50-50. Jim, again, congratulations on pimping me again real hard this evening. I'd like to turn it over to Jim for some final comments. But once again, it's been an honor and a privilege to host this fantastic fan club. I've said it at Springfield, and I've said it at DuQuoin, and folks, I mean it. It is one of the greatest auto racing fan clubs in the United States. I think you guys ought to give yourselves a hand. Also, too, you people in this area, you guys got to be the racing capital of the world. You race fans have really got it made. You got 7 or 8 racetracks within a 30-mile radius of you. Support these racetracks, folks. That's what keeps them going. Your money pays for those drivers to come through that pit gate. So support area racetracks. That's what we ask you to do. We'll see you all in 1994. Thank you, Jim. Jim Childers, give me a nice round. Jim Childers, ladies and gentlemen. A couple more things, 2 more things before we get out of here. Don't forget the Jack Hewitt auction till 11 o'clock, the silent auction. Write your bid on a piece of paper, throw it in there. We'll announce the winners at 11 o'clock. We've got the dollar tickets down there. We've got 50-50. We've got one of the greatest bands in the United States of America. Timberline is over there. Look at that. Look how happy they're excited. Look at it. Timberline. I'm telling you what, they want you to dance till you get holes in your shoes tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you have a good time. Everybody's going to leave here with something to stay long enough. Once again, my name's Mike Gear. Thank you for coming. Hope you have a great time. We'll see you at the racetrack, ladies and gentlemen. We're out of here. Thank you.